is Richard Fowler. I'm John Kilpatrick with Okolona Aikido, Louisville, Kentucky, USA. And when I started Aikido, one of the first things we started doing was where your partner grabs you and you turn them around. So it'd be something like this, and I turn him around and then do Kotegaeshi. I guess that was a way of teaching Kotegaeshi, and actually it's a very good way of teaching Kotegaeshi. We think that breath power techniques are a whole lot easier than wrist techniques, and so most of our work is freestyle kind of work, and so we do a lot of breath power techniques. And when I first started this, what would happen is, of course, all of us want to prove to we want to see this work. In Aikido, you know, it doesn't seem to work. I started off in Judo, and in Judo, back in those days, I watched some recent Judo throws, and I mean, it's changed a lot. But back in those days, the idea was to get a nice, clean, effortless throw. And in Aikido, you were just using pain compliance. You know, you're just grinding the guy into the ground and breaking his wrist if he doesn't fall and stuff. And so, you know, people didn't feel comfortable with that. So one way, what we would do, anyway, the way this practice would work, the guy grabs you, and then you step in here and you're trying to break loose and he won't let go, and then you grab this and I'm trying to pull him around and he's fighting me. And of course, if I'm doing it with somebody Richard's size, there's no hope. And if I'm doing it with somebody my size, you know, I can kind of drag him around and go through some nasty technique. But it's not easy. It's not what you think Aikido is supposed to be. And I think that for us, everything is leading. And so the way you get this and everything else for us to work is that you break the guys, you get a kazushi, not like you do it in Judo, but by leading your partner, by leading. And so in Aikido they talk about leading ki. Well, they call this leading ki. I think it's taking over the guy's reflexes. So the way we do this then, if we're doing this exercise, is that as he reaches for my hand, I just move with him and bring him around me. So if we look at that from the other side, see, he's reaching, and I just turn my hand with my whole body, and here, I just keep this hand just out of his reach, but I don't jerk it away. It's not an arm movement. Again, almost all your movements have to move with your body. And to encourage him, a lot of times people will quit, but to encourage him, I'm very lightly touching his hand and bringing his hand along. And I just use these last two fingers in my thumb, and I just barely touch him. Now, when we get to a Kotegaeshi with this, which we'll do on another video, but when I get to the Kotegaeshi, see, this hand's already in the right place. So it's already there. And actually this one is too. It's just out of reach here. But right now, you've got enough to try to practice and learn, just learning to bring the guy around you. Now, I think ideal footwork for this is for me to be in this position, and then as he reaches, I just step around like this. So I have stepped, I started here, and then I just step and make a 180-degree circle. My lead foot doesn't move. Now, you know, really when you start doing technique and you have different partners and they behave differently and all, then you might have to move your feet forward or backward a little bit. You may have to do a little more. But your basic movement is just to pivot here. And it's really important when you're leading somebody's hand. So when I'm leading it, I move my whole body. I don't jerk my hand around. So if he reaches and I do like this, well, he's not going to, you know, that's not going to work. That's not going to lead him. So what we want is that as he comes here, I just bring him around and see this foot, I've come around 180 degrees here. And so from the other side, he reaches. And see, this hand just stays right in front of him. And this just encourages him a little. I don't grab him. If I grab him, I get a defensive reflex. Well, our whole game is controlling his reflexes. And so you don't want to, you want to get this this feeding reflex where he's coming after this food, and you want to get him in that reflex and keep him in it. And if you grab him here, then he knows that's messed up. And now he's fighting you and it's not working. So this is what I mean by circling or turning. And so this is not something I love a lot. We like, when we're doing techniques, we like for it to be over instantly. I want, at the moment he's reaching for me, I want to be taking him out. I don't want to be turning it off. But sometimes, like in freestyle, if I'm busy dealing with somebody else and suddenly he's coming at me, you know, then I can do this, and I don't have to prepare much for it. You know, if I'm going to come in like I usually do and come in close to him here, I kind of have to be facing him and ready to do it. Whereas for this, if I get caught by surprise, I can just spin and go right into one of the throws that goes with this.